The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine, host of the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Damon Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore podcast. And Seth Eisenberg, host of the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts. That The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Pulse, our Wednesday podcast where most of our podcasters come on. We won't have Alexander tonight, but we will have Seth, who will be a little bit late, but it's brought to you by the America's Pulse Network. We have a first-time guest on here, on The Pulse. He was actually at the election party that we had on election night back in November. So I just want to get into a couple things, and then we'll get this show started. I'm your host, your moderator tonight, Damon Galdo, and I just want to talk about, tonight we have to speak plainly, not emotionally, not recklessly, but honestly. A nation is not defined by its borders alone. It's defined by its laws, its shared civic culture, and the agreement between its people and their government. That agreement, that social contract, has been strained to a breaking point, and I'm sure everyone's seen this. This isn't not just the United States. This is everywhere. For generations, America welcomed immigrants who came here to work, to contribute, to assimilate, and to become Americans. That was the deal. Opportunity in exchange for responsibility. Freedom paired with accountability. That model built the most successful nation in human history. What we're witnessing today is something very different, and it did not happen by accident. We have replaced assimilation with entitlement. We have replaced enforcement with excuses, and we have replaced the needs for our own citizens with policies that ask working families to shoulder burdens they can no longer afford. There is no such thing as government money. I say this all the time, and I'll never stop saying it. Every dollar spent comes from the American taxpayer, the nurse, the carpenter, the truck driver, the young family trying to buy a home, the senior choosing between groceries and prescriptions. When politicians promise free services to the world, they're writing checks that our citizens are forced to cash. And nowhere in this mindset is clearer than in the states like California. And we'll talk about New Jersey too, because we're calling New Jersey the East Coast California at this point. But Governor Gavin Newsom is not focused on restoring affordability, lowering costs, or strengthening the middle class. Instead, California is building reparation bureaucracies and advancing DEI-driven land and agriculture policies, deciding who qualifies for opportunity not by merit, contribution, or citizenship, but by ancestry and ideology. That makes sense. No, it doesn't. But family farms are collapsing, food prices are soaring, and taxpayers they're fleeing. Yet the response from leadership is more division, more redistribution, and identity-based governance. I mean, that's it's not compassion. That's adaptation. And think about, we also need to confront something deeper, something that has quietly reshaped the West from the inside. For years, headlines, some true, some false, have been amplified by algorithms designed to confirm our existing biases, I would say. In many ways, we have poisoned our own information ecosystem. But the greater damage didn't come from the internet alone. It came from what happened in the real world, inside our most powerful institutions. If you look at around roughly 2014, when Obama was president, diversity, equity, inclusion stopped being a stated value and became a governing ideology across media, universities, medicine, technology, and entertainment. Hiring and advancement quietly shifted away from merit and toward identity. This wasn't written in the law. It was enforced through incentives, norms, and informal mandates that reshaped who was allowed through the door and who wasn't. Now this shift wasn't about inclusion. It was about redistributing opportunity in zero-sum systems, entry-level pipelines, the path to advancement that were re-engineered along racial and gendered lines, while upper levels were insulated by legacy resumes. I mean, over time, you think about it, nearly every institution that confers prestige in American life was reweighted by identity rather than excellence. When opportunity becomes zero sum and identity based, trust collapses and everyone stops trusting our institutions. So standards wound up eroding. People raised to believe in colorblind meritocracy or told rules no longer apply to them. You cannot preach fairness while practicing exclusion. That contradiction is unsustainable. And this is how identitarianism on the left produces identitarianism on the right. It doesn't heal division, it hardens it. And it destroys the shared belief that effort and ability, not group identity, determine success. So how do we fix it? We restore one standard for everyone. We enforce the law equally. We end incentives that reward dependency over contribution. We reject race-based governance and return to equal treatment under the law. And we restore assimilation, because that's important. It really is. Not as a punishment, but as a price of membership in a free society. Colorblind meritocracy it's not cruel at all. It's the only system that produces positive outcomes for everyone. When the most capable people fill roles of responsibilities, institutions perform, innovation grows, and opportunity expands outward. The fall of the West is not inevitable. It is the result of choices, and choices can be reserved. So the question is whether we still have to defend what was handed to us so we can pass it on stronger, I would say, freer and intact to the next generation. Because I have kids, and I'm sure all the listeners out there have them too. So it's an important thing. So let's get ready to our I'm sorry, we got our breaking news. I want to hit that first. I apologize. Breaking news. I always skip over, I get all excited all the time and go right to the beginning monologue, but let's play this first clip right now. All right. So that was Trump. He intended the dignified transfer of the U.S. soldiers killed in Syria. So there was that. And another one, there's a new picture of a person of interest in the right here at the Brown University shootings. So I think there's a hotline on there. If anybody knows who it is, you can call that hotline. It's a person of interest. That's all we know as of right now. So, all right. So let's go into our first segment, mass migration without assimilation. So, and I want to bring on the first guest, Elana Barbera from Base Mother. Hello, Elana. How are you?
What's up, Damon?
Like I said, Alexander's not coming on. She won't be on tonight, but and Seth is going to be a little bit late. He should be on maybe in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. But we have two other special guests. We have Barry Sable for first time on the Pulse. Hello, Uncle Barry. As everyone
How are you, my brother?
Good. How are you? And we have Justin Murphy, who's been on here many times. Well, Justin, thanks for coming on again.
Always a pleasure to be here. I'm very thankful that you have me on.
So, all right, let's get started. So, Lena, I'll go ladies first. I'll start with you. So, mass migration without assimilation. How do you think that's affecting, not just our country, but it's global almost, and the whole entire West?
Okay, well, first of all, we're seeing that, the cultures of places like Ireland and England are just disappearing. You see footage from London, and there there are no English people anymore. And not that there are none of them, but they have quickly become a diminishing portion of the population. So culturally speaking, we're just white culture is just being erased. Western culture is being erased. Look at what just happened in France. Now, it's not just a matter of the culture disappearing, it's a matter of decency, safety, and the ability to move freely through the land has been erased. They just canceled their New Year's Eve celebration that happens every year, the Champs-Élysées, because they have become so overrun with, people who are, enriching the fabric of the culture that they can't control it anymore. There's too much violence, rape, and robbery, and they can't have 1 million people like they usually do come downtown because it's simply not safe. So it's just completely decimating Western culture is what it's doing.
No, it definitely is. That's why I named this episode that. And Barry, I'll go to you. Elana was on my Jersey Shore podcast on Monday, and we brought this up. It was right after it happened, that the shooting in Australia on the first day of Hanukkah. So do you think that has anything to do with the mass migration, letting people in that are unvetted or...
Well, personally, let me tell you, I have never, and I would imagine if I took any two of you and added your ages together, you probably wouldn't equate mine. So I could tell you I've lived a little longer than all three of you. But I've never seen this country so conflicted like I see it today. You have politicians on the left that are so adverse to the welfare of this country. Why would you possibly let 18 million or 10 million or 20 million, we don't even know the count, of unvetted people into this country? Why would you do that? I went down to the border and I was with Dave McCormick, and as you know, I was with Curtis Bashel at the time, and I watched these people enter the country, no vetting, and within a day they were all dispersed throughout the country. So supposedly we've let in about 18,000 terrorists. Why would you do that? Justin Murphy, why did they allow all of these people to come into this country? We all know about voting. We all know we thought they'd vote left and this and that. But don't you have any feelings towards American citizens anymore?
Barry, the reason to do it is when you look at this, it was clearly calculated with the Biden administration. It was calculated. There was no other way to view it.
Yeah.
The good news is Biden is no longer president. Donald Trump is. We have a secure border. We're gaining control of our legal immigration system. There are no illegal crossings. Practically been down to zero. We've had 1.5 million illegal aliens self-deport because they get it. Free rides over. And there's a lot more to do, obviously. Long-term damage, if you look at Western Europe, it is horrendous. But this is decade after decade after decade of socialist policy, getting people hooked on government, open borders, multiculturalism as a policy objective. And it's an utter disaster. I mean, it's an utter disaster. Now, even Angela Merkel, who was the German prime minister for a number of years, chancellor, she had said, look, multiculturalism has failed. And it has failed. For Western Europe, some people say it's too late. I hope not. There needs to be a number of things that happen in Western Europe, and that is that they need a political renaissance. They need to not just stop the flow of illegal immigration and control their borders. They need to deport. They need to reinvigorate their young people and have their young people dedicate themselves and understand Christianity. They need to have families. They need to reproduce. They need a political renaissance. They need a cultural renaissance. So they have a few steps to take, more than just electing a right-wing government or parliament members. or electing, a right-wing prime minister and stopping the flow of illegal immigration. They really need to go deep, 2 or 3. They've got to get to the young people and say, hey, this is who you are. Our country is worth saving. We're throwing it away with this mass migration, excuse me, endless waves. I always say immigration in America was successful because 2 things happened. They came here legally, and when they got here, they assimilated. And the Biden administration wanted to get rid of those 2 things, and the left has been trying to do this. This goes back to 1965, Barry, when Senator Ted Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson decided that immigration policy was too Eurocentric, and that we should get rid of, stop our quota systems, and we should open up our immigration to more what you would consider third world. And there's nothing wrong with that if they come legally and they assimilate. But the problem is you open up your border like Biden did. You have millions of people flow across the border. You can't vet them. You don't know who they are, where they're going, what they're doing here, where they're from. We've got Chinese nationals that will come over by the thousands. Come here.
And they're not here to rob your glove compartment. I could tell you that.
Yeah, we're going to have. I mean, you look at the violence in this country right now, and you have to start to wonder. What's the next shoe to drop? Is this really going to? Are we susceptible to an October 7th attack? And the answer is yes, we are susceptible to it. Is our grid infrastructure safe? And not as safe as it should be. It's going to take years to really clean this mess up, and we just pray that we don't have a horrible event, a black swan event, or a mass shooting, or an October 7th type of attack, given that our border was open for a number of years and it was calculated. But this is not just people would say, oh, Biden, he's so stupid, he's incompetent. The left that was running the White House at the time, no,
that was on purpose.
Calculated.
It was calculated
policy.
Calculated.
It was. Yeah. So listen, I mean, even though we covered some of it, I just have one clip for this segment, and I just want to let everyone know at roughly around 9:00 when Trump is supposed to be coming on and giving a statement from the Oval Office. So we'll cut right to that. So if we cut out at around 9, and you'll still see us on the screen. And I said, thanks, Pete. Pete said America's too big to destroy from outside. So they smuggled an army in. You're right, Pete. Yeah. They definitely did. So let's play this clip for the segment. Then we'll go around.
The department instructed embassies around the world to report on the public safety impact of mass migration in the countries where they are being stationed in. The State Department posting this right here: mass migration posing an existential threat to Western civilization and undermines the stability of key American allies. Western nations have endured crime waves, terror attacks, sexual assaults, and the displacement of communities. The new orders will require embassies to document human rights abuses committed by migrants, to report on countries that punish citizens who object to mass migration, or that create a 2-tiered system that prioritizes foreign nationals over their own citizens.
So I'll go to Elena after that. In New Jersey, we talked about it on the show on Monday as well. They're looking to pass a new bill to give legal immigrants free health care. They already get licenses in New Jersey, and when they apply for their license, they automatically get registered to vote. So just said it right. I mean, they prioritize non-citizens over citizens. That's what they've been doing. So
that's just going to keep on happening. And the Democrat politicians are not our only fight in this. So they're doing quite well still in elections, and the midterms are a huge concern. And we really ought to be fighting like hell against them, but most Republicans really don't get involved. The bigger issue that we have is our education system, because from kindergarten, pre-K, all the way up through doctorate degrees, all of our educational institutions are indoctrinating children into this globalist, DEI, give everything away, communistic worldview. So we have generations of citizens who believe that what the Democrats are doing is the right thing to do. And people like us are awful racists, and they They believe that. It is in their DNA. So like what you said earlier, Justin, oh, in the UK, they should teach the kids, this is who you are. They'll look at you and say, you're a racist boomer, and I don't want anything to do with the way you think. We have to take over more than just our elected officials. We have to take back our educational institutions, and none of that is happening. We had some great executive orders in the beginning. Nothing's changing.
So, all right, Barry, I'll give it to you and then Justin for another minute or two, and we'll go to the next segment. So,
well, listen, my ideas are not obscure. They're very simple. You have let in a bundle of people in this country. First of all, we don't follow laws. I believe, and you could correct me because you're the attorney in this group, but we had a law in the books that said 750,000 per year allowed to either get a green card or get admitted into this country. We broke the law. The responsibility of the last administration was to protect the citizens of the United States of America. And as you could see, we have so much corruption, crime, gangbangs in this country, murders in this country. It's bad enough that we have that from Americans. Now we have to contend with people that have crossed our border. So as far as I'm concerned, me personally, I think you've passed the point of no return. Only because I say that is because the left pushes back for everything that this administration does. This administration is trying to do the right thing. Tom Holman has his agents in the field, and the left is complaining that they're masked. I don't know why they're masked. They're masked because they don't want to reveal their identity nor their family's identity. The left isn't happy with that. These people are on a destructive path to just ruin this country. And I got to tell you guys, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, I don't see how you fix this, because when I was growing up, we never had conflicting problems. Yeah, maybe the left or the right, they didn't quite agree on a policy, but nothing like this. Every part of our fabric of this country is being undermined. They take away your history. Like Elena says, they take away your education. You have so many kids that are indoctrinated to believe that they don't love living in America. We never had anything like that. I never remember anybody when I was growing up ever said that this wasn't the greatest country. So I don't really know how you fix this stuff, guys. I really don't. I wish I had the answer, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw it on to the legal mind, Elena, and let him figure it out.
Justin, you're running for Senate, so
yeah,
is that how we fix it?
Well, look, I was with a group last night up in Middlesex County, and I was speaking to them about the crash and burn here in November with the governor's race. And I tell people, look, we can fix this, and never bet against America. And that's my eternal optimism. You never bet against America. America always.
I'm with you, Justin, but I have to tell you the truth. I'm with you 1,000%. The problem that I see is that after 9/11, at least we were all pushing in the same direction for this country and the welfare of this country and the security of this country and the safety in this country. And then when Obama came into office, he told you, this Sunday, I'm doing a show, as you know, on 1210 WPHT. And basically, the beginning of the show is Obama came into office and said, we are going to change America.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Schumer sat on the steps in Georgia and told you, if we win Georgia, we're going to change the complexity and the look of America. Never told us what he was going to change it to. And frankly, we have the greatest country in the world. What are you going to do to change it, to better it? So now we talk about socialism. Yeah. How in the world, guys, do you get Muslim socialist who is really a communist in office as mayor of the finest city that this country has?
I will tell you how that happens. I will tell you how that happens. And it's a one-word answer, Barry. Apathy. There's over 20% turnout in New York City. Apathy got Mamdani elected. Apathy in New Jersey got Mikey elected. We have dangerously high levels of apathy in this country. Dangerously high.
Apathy for what? Destruction? For change? For socialism?
No,
Where are we heading?
Apathy with the political system, the low level of turnout, the low level of interest. The people are apathetic.
Yes.
I mean, we have
They're
more
not
people
showing up, or they think that they can't make a difference, right?
Exactly. Or they're sick of both parties. I don't see a difference. This is where, when you look at, it's apathy is getting these people elected. I mean, I tell people last night, we can't just elect a Republican president or Donald Trump in 2024 and say, okay, we're done now. I'm going to go back to my life. You need to engage civically every day. We need to win midterms. We need to win state races. We need to make sure that we keep the White House in 2028. And people have to realize that. You can't just vote once every 4 years. It's not sufficient. You need to be out, engaged, voting locally. And this is hard.
Yeah,
it's
Elaine,
hard
I watched the 5 today. I watched the 5. And Jessica Tarloff was complaining about the economy and affordability of the United States. So my question to Jessica Tarloff would be very simple. What do you want Donald Trump and this administration to do different than they're doing right now? Nobody asked that question.
Hit her with fact. Hit her with fact. You had 9%.
What does she want to see done, Justin? What is she actually? She's a big complainer, like a lot of the people on the left. But how do they plan on fixing any? They put you in this position.
Barry, they have no plan to fix anything.
Let's talk about this in the next segment, because the next segment is we got to move on because Trump's going to be coming on 9. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll talk about the next segment. And that segment is there is no government money, and then we'll talk about Jessica Tarloff, how she wants to.
That's why I don't watch the 5 anymore. I can't stand her.
Yeah. Sorry,
it's a theatrical show, Justin, isn't it?
That's what it is. It is, and they're not here to solve anything. It's here to use the problem to win the next election. Use the problem, win the next election.
And Elena said something which was really true. It all amounts and is defined by education.
We got to cut it and go to the next segment. We'll continue the conversation next segment. We've got to take a quick break.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
All right, everybody, welcome back to next segment of The Pulse. Thanks for joining us. And again, like and subscribe, and you can go in the chat box and ask some questions. I see Pete said another statement in there. But you can ask a question or make a statement, whatever you want to do. But to continue what we're talking about with affordability, we're talking about Jessica Tarloff, and that's the left's new word: affordability. Well, this segment is there is no government money. And I want to play this first clip, and then we'll continue that conversation.
Immigrants in Minnesota in 2025 with Minnesota Care and access to Minnesota Care will be given $7,000 worth of benefits. That's right. Illegal immigrants are given $7,000 per person in the form of Minnesota Care benefits here in Minnesota, paid for by Minnesota taxpayers. And what we're seeing and what this cost is to us is that with over 17,000 people who have already enrolled for this program here in Minnesota, in fiscal year 2025 alone, that is going to equate to at least $107 million in this fiscal year right now.
Well, I would say to Jessica Tarloff, that's how you solve the affordability problem. Stop giving away taxpayer dollars. That's just the Minnesota. I mean, we talked about New Jersey before earlier too, but that is the way. I mean, you can't keep throwing it. I'm tired of people sticking their hand in my pocket, government, and to giving it away to people I don't want to give it to. So you guys can continue this conversation. I don't know, Justin, if you want to go or later.
It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Stop taxing us. Stop spending, stop giving our money away around the world and locally to people who either are here illegally, who won't work. You know, I was talking to a school teacher in Massachusetts one day, and I said, oh, how is your district? Like, what's it, you know, is it a good district? And she goes, oh, the services they provide for the kids are wonderful. She didn't mention the quality of the education at all. This is a teacher. People, we just give everything away, most of which is wasted, most of which is just red tape. I have had it. People could afford to live. We could afford a lot more, not to mention if we could get rid of all the illegal aliens and most of the H-1B visa abuses, then we would open up housing and housing prices would come down all over the country.
Yes, correct. That is correct. There's a number of solutions. And, you know, one of the things we have to do, and one of the things I plan on doing aggressively next year, because this will be an issue, is, you know, we hit them with some facts. Look, Joe Biden had 9% inflation, 40-year high. Donald Trump has 2.8% inflation. Interest rates under Biden, interest rates are much lower now under Donald Trump. We are deporting illegal aliens. It's going to take some time to affect the housing market. We're increasing our own energy production. That's gainful employment. Gainful employment, low interest rates is our best housing policy. There are solutions out there, but what we need to do is when people have had it, Elena, everyone has, it has to manifest itself politically in a voting booth. Because until we change who's passing the laws, and we did that very well in November of 2024. The issue for us now is, can we continue that in 2026? I think we can. I do think that the American people are not going to buy this, put the Democrats back in charge, and we'll make everything more affordable. We have a very simple job ahead of us. Just remind people factually what cost of living was like under Joe Biden. And if you want that 9% inflation again.
But Justin, let me ask you a question. You just had an election in New Jersey.
It's New Jersey.
And you got sideswiped.
Absolutely.
That's right. You didn't have a prayer. You know, I did a little bit of homework. In 2024, Elena and Justin, and what's your name over there, sir, Damon? Okay. $4.9 trillion in revenue this country took in. Yeah. Almost $5 trillion. Where does most of that Where does most of that money go? Social Security, Medicare, National Defense, Income Security, Veterans Benefits and Services, Education, Training, Employment, and Social Services. Now, when you go and you look and see what Doge uncovered, I mean, come on, guys. This is pitiful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it. We have no checks and balances as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be realistic. If you run out of paper and ink, you've got problems. All of this money, and I have a whole list of how it was misappropriated. Now you have it in Minnesota, misappropriation. But I think you've got bigger problems than that. You have an influx of Muslims in this country. And to me, that is exactly what you saw that happened in Australia the other day. And I think Elena mentioned it earlier, what you have in England and France. You have that revelation taking place in America. Nobody on God's creation of this world knows better than the Israelis what it's like to deal with these people. They're willing to sacrifice their lives to obliterate you. And when that happens and they have no feelings for their own lives, you're fighting a battle that, honestly, I don't think you could win, guys. I really don't.
Well, we better win it. We better find a way to win it. There's no option. There's no other option, Barry. But no, you're right. I mean, if you look at this intifada has been globalized. This happens in Australia. Look at Western Europe, North America, South America, Middle East. This is a global problem now. And open borders and mass migration is a problem, helping to facilitate it because it's actually spreading. Look at Southern England. In our lifetime, I think Southern England, you're going to have Muslims ask it to be a semi-autonomous zone.
Of course. Hey, Damon, why do you bring 80,000 Somalians in here and like 65 or 70% are on benefits? SNAP, Section 8. Why are you doing that? Why are you bringing these people into this country?
Calculated effort to undermine.
Yeah, but there's still no. Calculated is part of it, but that's not the reason. Like, what is the reason to do the calculation? I can't figure this one out, what the reason to bring these people in here is. They are killing Christians all over Africa. There are nations all throughout the Middle East where if you convert from Islam to Christianity, you are either jailed or you get the death penalty. Sharia law is, and the way they treat women, like animals, where, as a Christian, I believe that God created men and women to live in dignity. And that is what the Bible says. And so what they're doing is they're trying to come here and have such high numbers that they can force Islam on us. They want all of us to be Iran. They want all of us to be some third world, oppressive, psychotic shithole where you're not allowed to eat bacon and you have to pray 7 times a day to a fake god that doesn't exist. It is infuriating. And why are they doing this? I really would love any theory
to destroy the country.
Why. Well, because I'll take it.
The country.
I'll take it back.
That doesn't.
I'll take it back to January 10th, 1963.
Because it's white people
manifesto
doing
how to destroy the nation from within. Because we're surrounded by vast oceans. We're a powerful country. We're the greatest nation in the world that's ever been. How do you destroy
life and death, though? Like Damon, these very people who are they are bringing in people who want them dead. Do you understand? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you go back to January 10th, 1963, that manifesto that actually Communist Manifesto that Congress brought up on that date, which if you look at the 50-some items that are on there to destroy the United States, it's all happening right now. Now, I don't know who's doing it. I mean, you got people like George Soros, people that were very powerful and billionaires, multi-billionaires that, I mean, some people call them globalists, and that there's a globalist leadership out there that is trying to take over. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy.
No, that makes sense that makes sense for all the other immigrants, not for the Islam thing. Like, I'm sorry, nothing's clicking.
Well, and people are stupid. That's why.
Let me ask you a question. Oh, by the way, Seth, you look handsome. Good evening.
Hello, Seth.
There you go. Elena, let me ask you a hurting question. To me, in the election in Jersey was highly driven, and I could be wrong, you correct me, by women. And in regards to gay, transgender, and everything else, don't women and this gay queer world, if you want to call it, have an understanding of what's going on with this Sharia law? Don't they get it, what's happening? I mean, I believe to a certain extent, a lot of these elections are being driven by women. And I think women, I could be wrong. You could correct me, but I have to tell you, I'm disappointed. Whatever leverage they have, why are they looking past? They're not taking care of our children. Just alone. Why have women, and I ask you this question because you're in this panel as a woman, why didn't women protest and lobby down in Washington with boys in girls' bathrooms and boys in girls' sports? Why haven't women reacted the way that I would hope they would?
Well, conservative women have, but liberal women are just they're convinced that they can be very, very easily convinced that someone is a victim and they need protecting. And you need to take their side, no matter what they've done. Look at them. They're on the sides of criminals, rapists, illegal aliens. There are, these young liberal women who have posters of Luigi Mangione hanging in their bedroom. I mean, it's a sickness. It's not even, Justin, earlier you said something about lay down the facts for them or kill them with the facts. They're allergic to facts. Completely allergic. It is so hard for us, Barry, to understand. It's so hard for me as a conservative woman to understand why these women, they say, oh, Donald Trump's going to make America the Handmaid's Tale. And they're literally supporting Islamic people coming in who want us to wear hijabs.
Yeah. Well, Seth, since you just came over, should we just get rid of the 19th Amendment?
Say whatever you want, Seth. Go ahead.
No, what I think we need to do.
I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to. I'm just joking.
You thank the Republican Party for the 19th Amendment and women's right to vote.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you this because I can speak freely on this. I love my right to vote, but if I thought it could save this country, truly believe that it could save this country and get it back to what it was, some normalcy, I would relinquish my right to vote if it meant I would make that sacrifice if I could save the country. It is never going to happen. Our best bet is to, again, take back the education system and the minds, or just pull all of our kids out of the education system completely and educate them ourselves.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin,
don't read.
Justin, why has America become so soft? Why?
Well, Barry, the problems that we're living through now, began in 1965. That's where you can peg it.
Oh, I agree.
Began in So what we're dealing with, like Elena, with the public education system, and losing a generation of kids, and the perverted the curriculum, the public school curriculum here in New Jersey is horrendous, borderline pedophilia. The problems have been going on for decades, and for the most part, the conservatives and the mainstream just kind of said, the liberals are the liberals, they're do-gooders, and we just were the frog in boiling water. We're waking up now. Hopefully it's hell of a not too late. I don't believe it is, but this has been going on for decades. This has not just happened organically, even going back to 2008 with Obama. It happened way before him. The left has been kind of devising this for decades. And you have a Marxist class of globalists. They are embedded in American government, American bureaucracy, American academia, and the UN. Look at the international institutions, the EU, the UN, WTO, WHO, and there are a group of people that look at the United States and what we're about and what we're built on and our foundation, and it's an impediment to what they want what they want for this world and how it should be ruled and run. Look, they are globalists. They don't even deny it anymore. So I mean, this has been happening for decades, and I tell people, like last night, the group I was speaking to, I said we had a bad election in New Jersey in November. I said that the world is not collapsing. We have problems, we have to solve them, and we will. But it's going to take time to change the culture of the federal bureaucracy, to change the culture, save the culture of America, because we're in a full-blown culture war right now, to change the culture of the public school system state by state. It's going to take some time. We're going to have to be patient and realize every now and then we're going to have disappointments. But, New Jersey's not a snapshot of America. We're a far left state, unfortunately. We're outnumbered by 840,000 Democrats in this state. It's left wing, and we're just not going to be able to make us a competitive state. In a few short.
All right, guys,
we have to be patient and you just long-term look.
We're coming up on the break, and I'm going to get the set. So we're going to take a quick break, and then this is like a continuance. Every segment is a continuance of what we're talking about. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll hear from Seth.
The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine, host of the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Damon Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore podcast. And Seth Eisenberg, host of the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Everybody, welcome back to The Pulse. Thanks for sticking with us. This is our third segment. So this is from American Dream to Dependency. The segment 3 says that's wrong, but on the screen, sorry. But it's from American Dream to Dependency Culture. And that's where we're at. So I want to play a quick clip, and then Seth will review.
Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino and federal agents are back in Chicago. They are arresting more illegal immigrants on the streets of that city. And Fox rode along on one of their missions that shows the dangers agents face every day. Watch this. As usual, Democratic leaders are pushing back. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker posted, "This isn't enforcement, this is harassment." Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson added, "These tactics are destabilizing, wrong, and must be condemned."
Well, to everyone's question from the last segment, that this is why we became a nation of softies and idiots, because of stuff like that. Because that was during the day, so none of those people have a job, I assume. They're out there harassing ICE in Chicago. So
You
Seth,
assume correctly.
yeah. So Seth, your thoughts as a retired Navy man?
All right. First of all, the government is not important. We need to stop talking about it like it's some mythical being that's in charge of everything, and we need to bow down in front of it and do what they say. Fuck the government. I'm about that point now where I don't care about it. I don't care what happens to it. Burn it to the ground. Let's start over again. It's useless. Everyone talks about Republican. How long have Republicans been in charge now and have done shit? Have accomplished fuck all. Nothing. But they run their mouths like they're going to do something. Oh, we're going to do this, and this, and nothing ever happens. So fuck them all. They're useless. Useless as tits on a boar hog. Number two, why are we so soft in this country? Because we've raised pussies. We've raised weak little men that grow into weak older men. We have zero tolerance policies in school, so you have to stand there and take a beating. Because if you fight back, you're going to get in trouble. When I was in school, you put your hands on somebody, you were picking your teeth up off the ground, and that was that. Men don't stand there and take a beating. Men don't stand there and let other people take beatings. Men get involved. I'll go to jail because I'll still do that. I will not stand by and let people get harassed or picked on or bullied or allow someone to do that to me. I will catch a charge. I don't care. I don't care what the government says. I don't care what the police say. Wrong is wrong. And no matter how many times they try to tell you that wrong is right, it doesn't change it. Wrong is wrong. So we need to stop, number one, talking about how great the government is and how they're going to solve all our goddamn issues. They've had decades and have only caused issues. I'm sick of it. Sick of hearing about what they're going to do. You know what? Shut up and do it. Stop showing me pictures of who you're going to lock up or who you're going to investigate or who you're going to put in jail, and do it. Because I'm getting sick and goddamn tired of hearing about it. Like that little guy at a party who's had 6 beers, and all of a sudden he's 10 feet tall and bulletproof. He will run his mouth all day long, but you know what? He'll never do anything. Just like the government. They're going to lock everybody up. They're going to get all the Democrats who did this and this, and all the Republicans who did this and this. And they don't. And we're all sitting by going, why is it not happening? Because they're playing us. They're hustlers. And we're part of the hustle.
Oh, I agree.
Stop treating the government like they're important. Stop treating the government like they care about us. Republican, Democrat, 2 sides of the same coin. And if you don't realize it by now, up your goddamn medicine, have a drink, and sit on the bench, and let the men take over.
Seth, can I ask you a question? Damon, might I butt in and ask Seth the question?
Sure, go ahead.
Statistically, in the year of 2024 to 25, let me give you some numbers. White Caucasians in this country now, 57%. Stay with me. Hispanic or Latino, and obviously they're different colors because they range from all different colors, 20%, black 12%, Asian 6%. What I'm saying to you is, as of 2025, about 15% of U.S. residents are immigrants, foreign born. Mm-hmm. You know, when I'm home and I'm in between projects now, I'll sit on the computer and look at clips. And I watched the clip where a guy was interviewing 4 young ladies. One was from Palestine, so obviously her allegiance was not to America. Another one, they're all living in America now. One was from Mexico. And the interviewer said to the girl from Mexico, if Mexico and the United States went to war, which country would you give allegiance to? And she said, I give allegiance to Mexico and Palestine before the United States. There inherently lies a big problem that you have, guys.
Absolutely.
It's a fact.
Yeah, we don't. Immigration policy needs to benefit our country, our culture, our economy, our labor force, and our communities. And until we get control of it and keep people like that the hell out, and we should, and if it were up to me, they'd be deported. Both of them, they would be deported. You know, you do need allegiance to this country. And
why are we still allowing immigration?
Part of the legal
Why do we allow
process.
immigration now at all, period? Why are we not just shutting it down and saying, tough shit, stay in your third world shithole. We're closed for business for the next 3 years.
We have shut down like 40 countries for now.
Everybody. Nobody comes in for 2 years. We have our own problems. We need to fix our own country first. Nobody comes in anymore.
Well, why isn't that happening, Damon?
You're gone immediately.
Damon, why isn't that
you don't get to go to court. You don't get to plead your case. You get deported immediately. You want to pledge your allegiance to another country? Get your ass to that country. You got 24 hours to do it voluntarily, or the U.S. Marshals are going to kick your ass across the border. And then we shut the borders down for 2 years, and nobody comes in. Let the world go to shit.
I'm with you there, Seth. I get it, and it's like Elena said, like roughly 40 countries are shut down right now to immigrate to the United States, which is okay, good. I'm glad.
The damage is done.
It is, but we still have to keep deporting the people.
It's ongoing.
So
it's ongoing, but this is one reason Trump was elected was to gain control of the immigration system, secure the border, and start deporting. Look, you see what he's doing. He's using resources of the federal government to round these people up. He's going after the criminals, the gangbangers, the rapists, the child molesters, the kid trafficking, the gun running. It's going to take time.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: you have liberal judges out there that are following.
Can I ask a question to Elena, Mr. Damon? Do you mind?
Sure, no, have at it.
My question to you is very simply: why is it in this country? Why couldn't it be simple? 60, 90 days you have to report. If you are here illegally, I don't care if you're here 25 years ago, you need to report. We need to know who you are. On a one-on-one basis, you're here illegally. We're going to make a decision whether you stay or you go. Why is it difficult? Why isn't it that simple? You must report. Just like you need a driver's license or whatever else may be to navigate a car or whatever. Just report. We need to know who you are. Why isn't that done?
Well, because our immigration laws aren't enforced, right? They haven't been for years, even before Biden. Biden really ripped it wide open. The systems, the United States immigration court systems are backlogged up to 10 years. There are not enough immigration judges. There is not enough, people to push that amount of paperwork for the amount of people that we've allowed in here. So 60 days is a fantasy. It is not happening, and it's never going to happen. The only
80,000 IRS agents that you offer jobs to, or you put in still. That's what you use them for.
Yeah, agreed.
I could fix
it could be done, I guess, if we wanted to, but we don't. And again, Biden knew that Biden was advised before he was even elected that if they opened up the border, he would have a humanitarian crisis, a financial crisis, that it would go disastrously, that people would get hurt. And they just went and did it anyway. They knew that they could never handle the influx.
I can fix the immigration problem.
Is held accountable.
I can fix the immigration problem and the financial problem in 1 week.
Tell me.
1 week.
Tell us.
Any company that hires an illegal immigrant is fined $100,000 per day per incident. If they can't pay the fine, they are shut down immediately. I guarantee you, once that starts happening, illegal immigration stops because the companies aren't going to pay for it. They will end it. They will pay to have the wall built.
Just your practice would elevate to a different level beyond your wildest dreams.
Beyond my wildest dreams. Look, I mean, the immigrants, I mean, we look at what incentives they have. A lot of the immigrants coming here, folks, they're look the numbers you mentioned, Elena, earlier, up to upwards of 80% of the Somali community in Minnesota is on some type of public welfare. They're not here to work, Seth. They're here to jump on the gravy train. You cut that off. And tell them
start charging landlords.
That's where you
start finding the landlords. If you're housing illegal aliens, they're finding you $100,000 a day per incident.
One word for $1 billion. What are they going to work for?
That's $1 billion, and I think that's a tip of the iceberg, Barry. What we're seeing in Minnesota right now, and this is an issue that can be a golden godsend for the Republican Party to continually run on the waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption of these social safety net systems. It's there for the taking if we want to be on offense and jump into it. I plan on doing it next year.
The sad thing is, the government could fix this overnight.
Yeah.
If they wanted to really fix this, this would no longer be an issue. They're making money on both sides.
And you know, Seth,
for 1 minute. They're
you
not
just said
profiting.
it. They're making money on both sides.
It will never change. We'll continue to be the suckers at the fucking 3-card Monte table trying to pick that queen while the government keeps switching it around. Go, no, you almost got it. You almost got it. One more try. Come on, do it one more time. And we're dumb enough to stand there and keep putting our money on the table and just keep trying. Get away from the goddamn government. Stop depending on them. Depend on your neighbor. Depend on your community. Depend on your church.
That's winning the culture war.
On the government, we're going to keep getting shit on. And they're going to tell us it's raining.
Seth, that's winning the culture war. We have to win the culture war, and it's going to take time.
You don't have time.
No,
we're going to have to find it. I mean, we don't have a choice.
Time is coming.
Damage has been done, but
Justin, don't you see the culture and the fabric of America is no longer what it was 35 years ago? I don't want to mention names, but you walk into certain stores and you walk around, the people working there, it doesn't appear like any of them are American born, and the people that are shopping there don't even speak English, for Christ's sakes.
And they all swipe their EBT cards too on top of it.
I see that, Barry. I see it like you do. I see it like you do. I see it like everybody does. I got to live through it too.
This country has no elegance. You walk into a great restaurant for dinner, and look at the dress. Nobody wears a sport jacket anymore. You call me whatever you want. You call me something of the past. But there was elegance in America today. Everything is dummied down.
Pride.
Everything.
Elegance and pride. Absolutely. Look,
it's gone.
We are missing
winning the culture war. One thing that's killing us, folks, is politically, because a lot of this has to manifest itself politically. It's apathy. We've got too many people sitting home, not voting, not participating. Apathy is why Mom Donnie got elected. Apathy is why Mikey Sherrill got elected. Apathy is why that attorney general candidate in Virginia, hideous idiot, got elected.
But how do you fight the apathy when the fact of the matter is we have the White House, the Senate, and nothing is changing? The only thing that Trump is like really accomplishing is making a dent in illegal immigration, and even that is not going fast enough for us by the time between now and the midterms and when the next presidency. And if the Democrats take the White House again, they could just rip the border right open again.
Well, of course they would, and that's a campaign message of ours. If you want to go back to open borders, vote Democrat. But I would disagree with you that things are not changing. They are. Are they changing as fast as we want in this information age where we live through a mouse click and we want instantaneous communication and Zoom calls and everything's a mouse click? It's not going to happen that fast. And we're just going to have to look, there is a multitude of, this is why the president is coming on the air tonight. He's not going to let the Democrats paint this picture that we're somehow a declining, failing country. Trump is so intelligent for coming on tonight, for being on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania with J.D. Vance holding rallies for the midterms, for thinking about having a convention this summer for midterms like we have every 4 years. There's good things going on, folks. There are. Do we need? Yeah, we need more time. And
there
they don't
is.
happen as quick as we like.
All right.
There is.
All right. Thank you.
I just want to let everybody know we might get kind of cut off any second now. If Trump comes on, we'll get shifted to the side. So I'm not even going to take a break. We're just going to start the next segment.
Yeah, let it be quiet.
It's Newsom's reparations. So
to a state that was never a slave state.
Never a slave state, but he wants the reparations. He wants to. I mean, it's unbelievable what he wants to do. He wants to give reparations to farmland and give it, and DEI and everything else. I'm so tired of that guy, and I'm just so tired of DEI and everything else. And that's what divides us. It's another thing. That's a reason why we're such a weak country, and that's another reason why mostly I would say Democrats are the ones that push this shit on us. And it causes more division, but they do it for votes. I mean, if you look at in media and culture, white men were 48% of lower level TV writers in 2011. And then it goes down to 11.9% by 2024. I mean, over 70 millennial National Book Award nominees over the next decade were 3 white men. That's it. 0 white American millennial men featured in 2024. It's just everything's declining. Everything has to be DEI. It's not about your meritocracy at all. It's just about DEI, and it's only for votes. That's basically what it is. I mean, if I'm in journalism, like the Atlantic was 89% white in 2013, and white people take up most of this country, obviously, because there's only about 13% black, but then it goes down to 66% white in 2024 because of DEI. Since 2020, new hires, it was 50% people of color. NPR, 78% of new hires were people of color in 2021.
Damon, we're not a country based on merit anymore.
I know that's the problem. We go to medicine, tech, to everything, Amazon. We look at every single aspect of the workforce. It has changed, and it changed in colleges. It changed in professors.
Damon,
and everything
I don't know about you. I never owned a slave. My dad never owned a slave, and my grandfather both of them came from Russia, and to the best of my knowledge, they were abused. They didn't own slaves. And now you're going to tell me you expect me to pay for reparations? You got to be kidding.
Seth, are you paying?
Nope. I'll go to jail for it.
What are you, cheap,
flat out
Seth?
Stop paying taxes.
Come on, Seth. Give up 10% of your income for reparations. Don't be so cheap.
Because Maryland passed a commission that will look into reparation payments in the state of Maryland. And I am going on record now, if they start paying reparations out of my tax money, I will flat out stop paying taxes, and they better come for bear when they come get me.
Seth, let me ask you a question. You're all riled up tonight.
Why
is it that the government will chase you and track you down for $50,000 that you may own the government? Why has nobody audited AOC and Omar and all those people that look to appear to be worth millions of dollars on an income of $150,000 or $175,000 or less? Why hasn't any of those people been audited? Why not?
Rules for thee, not for me. They can do what they want. Politicians can do what they want to do.
And
we don't demand anything because there's too many people that stand back and are in awe of politicians. Like, oh my God, they're so great. No, they're not. They're a bunch of fucking thieves and liars and criminals. They've got their own slush fund to pay for sexual harassment lawsuits. Our tax dollars pay for criminal lawsuits, and nobody says anything.
Nothing.
We're worried about Republican or Democrat. They're both screwing us, and you all need to wake up and see that. The Republicans are fighting Trump, so Trump can't get anything done. The Democrats are fighting the Republicans that are fighting Trump, so they can't get anything done. Those Republicans are fighting Democrats, so they can't get anything done. Nothing gets done, and we keep paying. And we keep voting.
Republicans
I never once in my life, ever.
What were
you saying?
There were 4 Republicans today that voted. Justin might know better than me.
Looks like Trump's about to come on.
4 Republicans voted again on a bill against the Republican Party and sided with the Democrats. You don't have one Democrat on any bill siding with a Republican.
Here we go.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
Same. Yeah. Can you start it over and turn up the volume?
I think it's live.
Flooded your cities and towns with illegal aliens. They decimated your hard-earned savings. They indoctrinated your children with hate for America. They just released a level of violent felons that we had never seen to prey on innocent. They caused war. They caused mayhem. They caused a horrible situation all over the globe. But now you have a president who fights for the law-abiding, hardworking people of our country, the ones who make this nation run, who make this nation work. And after just 1 year, we have achieved more than anyone could have imagined. Starting on day one, I took immediate action to stop the invasion of our southern border. For the past 7 months, 0 illegal aliens have been allowed into our country, a feat which everyone said was absolutely impossible. Do you remember when Joe Biden said that he needed Congress to pass legislation to help close the border? He was always blaming Congress and everyone else. As it turned out, we didn't need legislation. We just needed a new president. We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country. In other words, in a few short months, we went from worst to best. We're deporting criminals, restoring safety to our most dangerous cities. Just take a look at Washington, D.C. It's at levels of safety that we've never seen before. And they decimated the bloodthirsty foreign drug cartels. We did that all by ourselves with our people, and we're so proud of it because they were poisoning and destroying our population. Drugs brought in by ocean and by sea are now down 94%. We have broken the grip of sinister woke radicals in our schools, and control over those schools is back now in the hands of our great and loving states where education belongs. After rebuilding the United States military in my first term, and with the addition we are adding right now, we have the most powerful military anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. I've restored American strength, settled 8 wars in 10 months, destroyed the Iran nuclear threat, and ended the war in Gaza, bringing for the first time in 3,000 years peace to the Middle East, and secured the release of the hostages, both living and dead. Here at home, we're bringing our economy back from the brink of ruin. The last administration and their allies in Congress looted our treasury for trillions of dollars, driving up prices and everything at levels never seen before. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast. Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22%, and in many states, 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now, under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast. Democrat politicians also sent the cost of groceries soaring, but we are solving that too. The price of a Thanksgiving turkey was down 33% compared to the Biden last year. The price of eggs is down 82% since March, and everything else is falling rapidly. And it's not done yet, but boy, are we making progress. Nobody can believe what's going on. Here are just some of the efforts that we have underway. You will see in your wallets and bank accounts in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private sector rather than government, which is the only way to make a country powerful and great. This historic trend will continue. Already, I've secured a record-breaking $18 trillion of investment into the United States, which means jobs, wage increases, growth, factory openings, and far greater national security. Much of this success has been accomplished by tariffs. My favorite word, tariffs, which for many decades have been used successfully by other countries against us, but not anymore. Companies know that If they build in America, there are no tariffs. And that's why they're coming home to the USA in record numbers. They're building factories and plants at levels we haven't seen, AI, automobiles. We're doing what nobody thought was even possible, not even remotely possible. There has never, frankly, been anything like it. 1 year ago, our country was dead. We were absolutely dead. Our country was ready to fail, totally failed. Now, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's said by every single leader that I've spoken to over the last 5 months. Next year, you will also see the results of the largest tax cuts in American history that were really accomplished through our great, big, beautiful bill, perhaps the most sweeping legislation ever passed in Congress. We wrapped 12 different bills up into one beautiful bill. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. Under these cuts, many families will be saving between $11,000 and $20,000 a year, and next spring is projected to be the largest tax refund season of all time. Because of tariffs, along with the just passed One Big Beautiful Bill, tonight I am also proud to announce that more than 1,450,000, think of this, 1,450,000 military service members will receive a special, we call Warrior Dividend before Christmas, a Warrior Dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776. Think of that. Cool. And the checks are already on the way. Nobody understood that one until about 30 minutes ago. We made a lot more money than anybody thought because of tariffs, and the bill helped us along. Nobody deserves it more than our military, and I say congratulations to everybody. And by the way, we now have record enlistment in our military, and last year we had among the worst recruitment numbers in our military's history. What a difference a year makes. In addition, I'm doing what no politician of either party has ever done, standing up to the special interests to dramatically reduce the price of prescription drugs. I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%. In other words, your drug costs will be plummeting downward. And I used the threat of tariffs to get foreign countries who would never have done it to pay the cost of this giant dollar reduction. They stopped ripping us off, and it began as of 4 days ago. There has never been anything like this in the history of our country. Drugs have only gone up, but now they'll be going down by numbers never conceived possible. It's called Most Favored Nation. And no president has ever had the courage or ability to get this done until now. The first of these unprecedented price reductions will be available starting in January through a new website, TrumpRx.gov. And these big price cuts will greatly reduce the cost of health care. I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people, that's you, so they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower costs. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me, because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost. Another major focus is the cost of energy. For years, the radical left Democrats exploited the green energy scam as an excuse to funnel many billions of dollars into their own massive slush funds as their energy restrictions drastically drove up prices, and they drove them up at record levels. Electricity costs surged 30 to 100% under Biden, and the typical family lost $5,000 to $10,000 in higher energy costs. Think of that, $5,000 to $10,000 you lost. On day one, I declared a national energy emergency. Gasoline is now under $2.50 a gallon in much of the country. In some states, it, by the way, just hit $1.99 a gallon. And within the next 12 months, we will have opened 1,600 new electrical generating plants, a record, and it's a record that won't be beaten by practically, I would say, by anybody, or certainly not very soon. Prices on electricity and everything else will fall dramatically. The Democrat inflation disaster, again, the worst in the history of our country, also robbed millions of Americans of home ownership and indeed the American dream. The yearly cost of a typical new mortgage increased by $15,000 under Democrat rule. In 11 months, we've already gotten that annual cost down by $3,000, and it's coming down a lot lower. Wait till you see, the numbers are going to be shocking. And I'll soon announce our next chairman of the Federal Reserve, someone who believes in lower interest rates by a lot, and mortgage payments will be coming down even further. Early the new year, and you will see this, in the new year, I will announce some of the most aggressive housing reform plans in American history. A major factor in driving up housing costs was the colossal border invasion. We have never been invaded. This is the worst thing that, frankly, in my opinion, the worst thing that the Biden administration did to our country is the invasion at the border. The last administration and their allies in Congress brought in millions and millions of migrants and gave them taxpayer-funded housing while your rent and housing costs skyrocketed. Over 60% of growth in the rental market came from foreign migrants. At the same time, illegal aliens stole American jobs and flooded emergency rooms, getting free health care and education paid for by you, the American taxpayer. They also increased the cost of law enforcement by numbers so high that they are not even to be mentioned. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration as migrants go back home, leaving more housing and more jobs for Americans. In the year before my election, all net creation of jobs was going to foreign migrants. Since I took office, 100% of all net job creation has gone to American-born citizens, 100%. In the end, government either serves the patriotic, hardworking American citizen, or it serves those who break the laws, cheat the system, and seek power and profit at the expense of our nation. Look at Minnesota, where Somalians have taken over the economics of the state and have stolen billions and billions of dollars from Minnesota and indeed from the United States of America. And we're going to put an end to it. For so long as before my election, the vast majority of good and decent Americans were forced to watch as corrupt politicians plundered the halls of power, exploited our taxpayers, and pillaged every system that makes civilized society function. But not anymore, and you see that every day, not anymore. We're putting America first, and we are making America great again. Very simple. We are making America great again. Tonight, after 11 months, our border is secure. Inflation is stopped. Wages are up. Prices are down. Our nation is strong. America is respected, and our country is back, stronger than ever before. We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. Soon we will host the World Cup and the Olympics, both of which I got. But most importantly, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. There could be no more fitting tribute to this epic milestone than to complete the comeback of America that began just 1 year ago. When the world looks at us next year, let them see a nation that is loyal to its citizens, faithful to its workers, confident to its identity, certain to its destiny, and the envy of the entire globe. We are respected again like we have never been respected before. To each and every one of you, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless you all.
Beautiful. Unbelievable. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's called being on offense. You don't let your opponent define you. You're confident, optimistic. You get rid of this sour, dour Democrat narrative. On offense, you set the tone. That's the way to do it. And I plan on doing the same thing in New Jersey next year. That's absolutely the way to do it. You throw it down. You talk to the people directly. Screw going through the press. They're not going to help you. That's the way to do it. That's the way you continue to make sure Republicans stay in control and keep Democrats out of political power. That was a masterful piece of artwork.
Yes, I'm
masterful
with
piece
you there,
of
Justin. 100% with you there. I liked what he had to say. And just for the record, I put the show together before I knew Trump was even going to come on tonight. So I didn't know. So it kind of matched what he said. The show pretty much.
Masterful piece of artwork. That was artwork.
But yeah, and everything that he said is great. I mean, as long as it happens that way.
You don't look happy.
We're seeing what's that?
Elaine is not happy.
Elaine is unhappy. Yeah. Well,
I'm slightly less unhappy than before he spoke. Okay, it helps a little.
Trump on Monday, but both of us were from his tweet that he put out, or Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm mad at him about the Rob Reiner thing. I'm polluted from the weekend of global violence and the bloodbath. I'm polluted because the Democrats and the Republicans are just all, yes, they all fight with each other, but then they all protect each other and they just look out for each other's interests and not for ours. So I'm polluted, and more so than usual because I have a headache. So you know what that does to us. And then, but I do feel a little better after that.
When she's done.
Please, Mr. Barry.
Thank you. First of all, I could care less about Rob Reiner. I feel terrible what happened to him. He was a bad dude for America. And I mean this. He was great in regards to what he did. Nobody wants to see anybody lose a life the way that happened. Nobody. But he was a bad guy. I mean, he was not in favor of America the way I think America should be. But I jotted down a few things, and maybe you guys will comment to it. Number one, Donald Trump is not looking for sympathy. But I will tell you this much. To me, it almost was like he has to defend the good things that he's doing. Under any circumstances, anybody would be thrilled of the progress that this guy's made in one solid year. He's done wonderful things for this country. And to be honest with you, Democrats, one of the problems is not one Democrat will acknowledge one good thing that this man's done. Not Iran. The other day, this country blew up some vessels. There were two guys that were terrorists that they condemned because they killed them. They're supposed to kill them. They're killing American lives. I guess I got so many things to say, but to be honest with you, you really want to cure this, Justin? I'll tell you how to do it, Mr. Senator. The $350 billion that you just spent in Ukraine, if that number's accurate, you have 350 million people in this country. You spent $350 billion. Give each one 100 million kids and everybody, and everybody's going to love you. That's it. Problem solved.
Yeah, but that's what Democrats are trying to do. They're trying to buy votes and get as many people hooked on the government as possible. Our job is to make sure we promote independence and individual rights and responsibilities, free markets. That's the dichotomy. That's the left. George Will said this back in the 1990s. He said the job of the Democrat Party is to get as many people hooked on government as possible. And he's right.
That's what they're doing. They bring in a third world country group of people. Look, you guys all know that I've been to Brazil a zillion times, and I have to tell you the truth. There are people that work down there, most, because they talk about there's a middle class, but it's an estranged middle class. You can have a person work all month for $400 a month. People in this country don't have any clue how good they have it. They don't have anything. And I have to tell you something, Elena, in all fairness to males, females, whatever, parents are letting this country down. They're letting their kids get away with murder today. Murder. And there is no hard, tough luck. If in our days you did something wrong, wow, you got walloped. Today you do something wrong, your kid is 7 years old, he says, I'm going to call the police on you, Mom. I mean, you can't live like this. You can't have a society that doesn't have anarchy like this.
Got to change.
No, it's got to change for sure. And Seth, I know we talked about our states being very similar. Maryland, New Jersey, everything that's going on there. I mean, one thing, I was happy with that speech. I'm happy that drugs are down, and he says 94%. Yeah, keep zapping those freaking boats every time they come out there. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. It's fine. But he said that wages in New Jersey aren't rising fast enough to catch up with inflation. But nationally, it is. In some areas, but in blue states like New Jersey, I'm assuming Maryland too, so I'm asking you, because we just more than doubled the minimum wage, so they're pricing out the middle class. So that's why prices aren't going down in New Jersey. I mean, the minimum wage went more than doubled under Phil Murphy, and when you more than double the minimum wage. And then places you go to McDonald's or whatever, the dollar menu is gone. They don't have it anymore. So you have to pay people more money. You have the mom and pop stores can't afford to stay in business, and so they lose their businesses, and it goes to bigger like Walmarts and Home Depots and all that stuff. So is it like that in Maryland too?
Yeah, Maryland sucks. We're like, I don't know if we're like your big sister state or little sister state, but we suck. I went to McDonald's to get me and my son something the other day. Literally, just two of us. $32.
Yeah.
$32 goddamn dollars at McDonald's.
Wow.
This is ridiculous. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, God bless Trump for trying. Yeah, he's accomplished some things, and that's awesome. At the end of the day, we're still getting shit on.
Hey, Damon, I did a little homework. Do you know that it costs 30% less to live in the state of Ohio than it does New Jersey? 30%.
I would say probably most states across the country, 30% less than New Jersey. New Jersey, I went hard on New Jersey last podcast. They rape you coming and going even. They have an exit tax, so they own you. So they're going to keep charging you over and over and over again with the highest property taxes, with highest everything. They're raising the gas tax to 50 cents a gallon, 50 cents a gallon.
Wow.
And we have all the refineries here. We should have the cheapest gas, which we usually do. But now
used to.
Yeah, but now they're raising the gas tax to 50 cents a gallon. 50 cents every gallon. And he's doing it. Phil Murphy's doing it on his way out, so he doesn't make Mikey Sherrill look bad like she.
Right. So she doesn't have to do it.
Exactly, and that's what it is.
He's got it right.
Democrats watching each other.
You know who we should be following, who we should be emulating and trying to copy as much as we can? The Amish. They're not involved in any of our shit. They got nothing to do with us, and they're living great lives. They got a better life, longer life expectancy. They're healthier. They're happier. They live better. They live cleaner. They don't get themselves involved with the goddamn government. They got nothing to do with any of us. They call us the white people. We're the whites.
Hey, Seth,
that's how they look at us, because we are a joke. We run around.
It's not just their culture, their eyes, their whole focus is on
God.
And
what's wrong with that?
And that's God is the answer there.
Everybody celebrates Muslims for doing that same thing. That's
Seth,
great.
let me
They're
ask you a
doing good
question.
things. If somebody else does it, it's wrong. We need to be like
Seth,
the
you're,
Amish.
you're the biggest guy on this panel. When Justin becomes senator, are you going to be his bodyguard? He's going to need somebody to have to deal with all this stuff. Because you know he's going to take a lot of grief for all this nonsense. Within 6-8 months, they're going to look to him. Why haven't you corrected everything? You better wear a bulletproof vest, my friend.
Well, does everyone forget that I'm actually running for Congress too?
Yes.
Yeah, but you too. You better protect him too.
Damon for was it CD1 or 2, Damon? CD1.
Yeah.
The hammer don't need
Sure, you want that job, Damon?
Do I want the job?
You want that job?
Somebody's got to do it. Honestly, I don't. I like what I do for a living, but I have 2 young children, and if somebody has to step up. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So
correct. Yes,
that's right.
That is correct.
Well, if you get into office, make your first official act making government as small as you can make it.
Absolutely.
As inconsequential and as unimportant as you can make it. That's what you should do.
Abolish the IRS. Abolish the IRS. Abolish the Internal Revenue Code, and get rid of the tax.
We don't need any of this.
Brought up before the IRS was that. Remember they tried to add 80,000 more IRS agents.
That was Joe Biden's great idea to add 87,000 IRS agents.
Like, you know why?
We need 87,000 Border Patrol, not 87,000 IRS agents to run around and chase people for the $600 bank deposit.
Yeah, well, do you know why? Because IRS, it's a union, and they 97% of their PAC money that they pay into goes to Democrats.
Big government needs to be funded.
Yep.
Big government needs to be funded. They need money, and that's how they get it.
Hey, Justin, you know what someone said to me the other day? Because I asked them about those 80,000 too. It was a very interesting thought. He said they didn't really hire them to go down and track down that guy that owes $600 or $800 or $1,000. They hired these guys to actually kind of send out mail to each person and say, we did an audit on you and we found that you owe X amount of dollars based on how much money you made. So therefore, instead of you going through an audit, they send you something, you owe us $1,500. And hey, everybody pays. There, wouldn't you pay rather than get audited? That was pretty smart, I thought.
Yeah, I was reading the other day in the news that with Trump, the way Trump is configuring, to the degree that he can, IRS prosecutions are way down because he's focusing them on like criminal activity, like money laundering and things like that, which is good. I don't think we need to chase mom and pop pizza shop owner down to shake them down for money. That's all the hell they do. Now, New Jersey should pick up on that habit if it ever, but until we change, you got to change the political culture here in New Jersey. And Damon, you know how tough that is.
Yeah, I do. So, well,
very tough.
Elena lives in a nice state down in Florida. Seth lives in a shitty state, Maryland, like we did in New Jersey right now. Barry, you're in New Jersey or PA?
Listen, I'll be honest. I was in Florida last week. I'm looking feverishly, Elena, to join you. I don't want to be here. I swear, I don't want to be here anymore. I've served out my cause in this area, and to me, I mean, listen, we might not have snow in Florida, we might not have changed the seasons, but I live there. I'm going to have a good-looking tan, and that's the way it's going to be.
You got to promise to wear a Speedo.
It's easier living down here. So I left Massachusetts. I left Boston specifically, and right now, starting in January, Boston residents are going to be having a 13% property tax increase, and since 2023, that will make that 13% will make it a total of a 34% property tax increase since 2023.
That's criminal.
I mean, it should be criminal, and they just keep spending and spending and spending and spending, and they back themselves in a corner. Their only answer ever is to just tax the people more, and Governor DeSantis is doing what he can to try to tax us less.
Boston is a sanctuary city, right? Sanctuary.
Yes.
Yeah. So just like New Jersey is, we pay.
Let me ask you a question. Do we need another 9/11 for this country to somewhat be in unison? What do we need?
No, it won't unite us. It won't unite us. It's not the same. We're not the same country as before. Yeah. We're too far apart now. That will not solve the problem. I don't know what
I would never want another 9/11 anyway, but it wouldn't solve the problem. We need to get people that are here illegally, or I'm saying even legally, to assimilate, like the Somalians that are here legally in Minnesota that are robbing that Trump brought up. That was a good point. They're not assimilating. They came here for the free money and they're living off the taxpayer dollars. Same thing here in New Jersey. We have over 900,000 illegal immigrants here, and we pay $7.3 billion just in New Jersey state taxes alone for these illegal immigrants, for their health care, their schooling, their whatever it may be. And that comes out of New Jersey taxpayer dollars. And I said this, I'm not going to stop saying it because it's important. If we divided that $7.3 billion up by the amount of houses that are in the state of New Jersey, you could lower everyone's property tax by over $2,000 if we got rid of sanctuary state status and got rid of the limits. So I would vote for that in a goddamn second, because property taxes were the highest in the country. It's unbelievable. I think we're second highest actually, but still, it's high enough. But yeah. $7.3 billion. I think taxpayers would like that back.
Sanctuary status has a cost and a price. It's not just the degradation of quality of life with crime, and there's a cost to it. I mean, I think this thing in Minnesota is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
With this fraud really is. I mean, this has been happening for decades, folks. Decades. The waste and fraud and abuse, it is sickening. Any think tank, serious think tank in Washington will tell you Medicare alone has $60 to $100 billion a year in waste, fraud, and abuse. 60+ billion every year. And what do we really do about it? Not enough. Not enough.
Justin, Crockett, AOC.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
These are people that are in powerful positions that are being elected. Can you imagine? Waltz was asked the other day, I looked at a clip, what is the definition of a woman? And you know darn well he wasn't going to say. And he asked, well, what do you mean by that? This man could have been vice president of the United States. In all fairness to Miss Elena over there, who we adore, can you imagine if Kamala Harris was president of the United States today? How would she have dealt with Iran? Just forget the intra. How would she have dealt with Iran? How would she deal with Russia, Ukraine? How would she have dealt with India, Pakistan? How would she have dealt with the Middle Eastern affairs? As a woman, they wouldn't even accept her.
Well, let me grab my bottle of Jack Daniels, and I'll show you how she would have dealt with them.
Yeah.
Imagine where this country would be today if it wasn't for the orange guy.
I agree, but this is the thing is, I do think most Americans get it. We just have a high number of people that don't, and they're amplified. They found a home in the Democrat Party. Their message of intolerance and civility, hate, socialism, it's amplified through a print media that's in certain segments of corporate America. But I'll use this word a million times. Apathy is going to kill this country. Apathy is getting these people elected, and apathy is getting the AOCs reelected and the Jasmine Crockett's, and it's apathy. Look at New Jersey. We had, nothing really crazy happened with New Jersey electing a Democrat governor. We do that all too often. Same with New York City. They're not going to rarely elect a Republican, but we had a turnout rate in New Jersey of 49%. Now, that means 51% of the registered voters didn't even bother to come out and vote in the governor's race. And that does not even count the large number of adults who are not even registered to vote.
So let me ask you a question then.
How these people get elected.
Listen, Citarelli had 100,000 more than he did the last time. So frankly, it wasn't such a bad turnout for him, 100,000, even though I think they made critical mistakes. My question to you is, you had guys like Cliff Maloney and Scott Pressler knocking on doors. You had Jack Citarelli, even though I think he made a critical mistake. He was at diners. Who's at diners? Old people. That's who's at diners, old people. He didn't have any young people that he really went after, the youth of today. My question to you is, knowing all this, how do you get more conservatives to vote? How do you do it? Because if not, you'll continue to lose.
Barry, unfortunately, and I use New York City as an example. When people say, "How could Mamdani be elected?" and Adams and all these left wing, I said, "Look, it took New York City, unfortunately, the crime and filth and waste and corruption of the 70s and 80s before they finally said, oh, maybe I'll give a Republican a shot." And they elected Rudy Giuliani, and they happened to like him, and they kept him for 2 terms. Sometimes it just has to be that bad. People have to be so affected. But Barry, they also have to look at the 2 candidates running or the 3 candidates running in both parties, and they have to come to a realization that yes, one can solve the problem. One is a better choice than the other. This one is not just a lesser of 2 evils. And that's the hard part. That's a cultural problem. That's a mechanical problem when you're campaigning, getting people to even be receptive. I don't care how much money you raise or how you say what you say. If people are not receptive, it falls on deaf ears. How many people watch a debate? How many people watch Chitterelli and Mikey Sherrill debate? Probably very few that were independent, open-minded, and didn't have their minds made up. It is apathy. And how do you beat it?
Because it was on YouTube. It wasn't even like on the, I think that the last one was on the actual network. But the other ones all the debates were on YouTube.
You keep at it. I mean, Barry, right now, you're right. And that's an important point. Jack Chitterelli received 100,000 more votes in 25 than he did in 24. That's generally very good news. We now have over 1.6 million registered Republicans in New Jersey. That's the most ever in the history of America, in the history of our country, in the history of our state. But you got to keep going. I mean, we're still outnumbered by 840,000 Democrats. It's insane.
I don't even think you were able to turn independents. I don't know how many independents are really in this state, but I have to tell you couldn't
2.5 million. 2.5 million at use.
Seth, you read my Red Atlantic Fest proposal. That's how we get younger people out.
Oh no, I thought that was a great idea. I did. I mean, him not following it kind of was like, hey, could you just be dumber? I mean, why don't you just like come out wearing like plaid pants and a golf shirt and just talk directly to your grandparents? I mean, it's ridiculous. But one thing I think we should really be focused on, and not any of this, is that a war is about 30 seconds away in Venezuela. We are pushing that. We are pushing that boundary. We're not dealing with rational people down there. We are going to put Americans in harm's way, and we are going to start something major.
Do you agree with what's happening?
I don't agree with what he's doing at all. I don't think we should be down there. We should not be fucking with those people. We are going to get Americans killed over stupid shit.
I don't think so.
He needs to pull out and be done.
I don't know. I mean, Elena, do you feel that way?
Drugs.
I don't have a strong opinion. I'm watching it peripherally, and I haven't really investigated it.
I think it's more, Seth, China. We're concerned about China in our waters or in our area. I think it's a lot more than Venezuela and drugs. I think that's the camouflage. I think it's more than other foreign countries in our land.
Then we're being a coward about it and not doing what we need to do, but we're putting Americans' lives in jeopardy in fucking Venezuela, a third world country.
You think
we are going to get Americans killed in a third world country?
Tristan, you think they want to go to war or Damon with the United States of America?
You don't put a condom on if you're not going to fuck. You don't send an aircraft carrier down to a country just because you want to show it off. You send it down there because you're going to kill people. You are letting them know we are going to kill you, and you cannot stop us. An aircraft carrier is the biggest display of death on this planet. Nothing comes close to its killing power. Nothing. He's got one down there. I think 3 nuclear subs. Again, they are death. They're death. That's all they're there for.
Mr. Senator or Mr. Congressman over there. Do you agree with what this guy, the president and this administration's doing?
I think it's more flexing muscles, peace through strength. I don't think he wants to get into a war. I don't think so. I don't.
You think he's worried about
I hope if he does, then I'll admit that I'm wrong and I'll be upset about it. But I think he's really just flexing muscles.
That's $1 billion a day worth of flexing. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
He wants Maduro gone. Maduro works with terrorist, narco groups, groups. He does work with China. This guy has to go. Venezuela is the transshipment point for cocaine into America, as Mexico is for the fentanyl mess. This is a crackdown on crime. It's a crackdown on narco terror. It's a crackdown on drugs. Seth, you're right. You go down there with the force, hoping that this guy backs down and leaves. And I think ultimately he will. People know Trump is not going to screw around. If he's going to pull the trigger on it, they know he'll do it. It's not a bluff. And they have to know that we have the option.
That's what we have the CIA for. The CIA is there just for that, to kill people overseas we don't like. We don't need to put American men and women in harm's way.
Seth, they went after Soleimani and they killed him in 15 seconds. Don't you think if you really want to go after this guy in Venezuela, he's nothing to take out. He's nothing.
And do it. Then do it and be done with it. Pull our men and women out of harm's way. Kill that son of a bitch, and let's get back to our country.
I mean, I think.
Then do it. I'm all for that, but I'm not for putting men and women in war to prove a point or because he's flexing.
I mean, nobody.
Like
look,
Trump,
nobody
voted
wants.
for him,
Nobody
but I
wants
am not
war.
a fucking-
Nobody wants a war. But look, he's blowing these boats.
He's certainly acting like he does.
Yeah, but see, Seth, your enemy has to know that you're willing to go to war, not whether you like it or not. They have to know that we're willing to use our military, and it's to blow these boats out of the water. I'm all for it. I'm with you, Damon.
And I'm pretty sure when we did that, they understood that we didn't send any more ships down. We are blowing their boats out of water with a missile cruiser. That's all we needed was one Aegis missile cruiser. That's it. And they could take it seriously. What we're doing now is trying to push something off. We're trying to
something too, Seth. You don't even have to fight wars the way you did. All you got to do is unleash drones. Drones are so effective today. You don't have to worry about anything of that nature in regards to aircraft and boats and ships and submarines.
And they are fought differently, and we need to send a message. Got to send a message to China and Russia and Iran. This isn't Biden stumbling around on a stage not knowing whose hand to shake. This is Trump. This is a powerful military. You're going to stop screwing with us. You're going to stop the fentanyl, the drugs, and everything else they do. I mean, look, we know what the open border brought us. And hopefully nothing happens on our soil. But I still think that book's unwritten yet. Peace through strength and weakness invites aggression.
We are the #1 consumer of illegal drugs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We could wipe Venezuela and Colombia completely off the map. And until we contain what's going on in our country, it will never stop. It will never slow down. It will never get better.
Both
What
ends.
we're doing right now is putting fingers in a dam and a dike. We're not doing anything. And I don't want to put people in harm's way just so we can prove a point that we're willing to go all the way to do this. We need to stop immigration completely, shut down for 2 to 3 years, pull everybody back in this country, and take care of what we need to take care of here first, or nothing else matters.
I think that's going to happen, Seth. I'll be honest with you. I think that's going to happen. But I question, how are you going to, and what are you going to do with all of these people that are in this country that are draining financially the United States of America?
Kick them out.
Deportation.
Kick them out.
80,000 Somalis. You're going to kick them
Kick
all
them
out?
out.
Do
Kick
you
them out.
think that actually will happen, Elana?
I think the ones that are here legally, if any of them have participated in any of these crimes at all, like there was that autism fraud scheme where families were getting paid just to say that their kid was autistic. Every one of them, legal or illegal, you committed a crime now, get out. I don't care if you you can lose your citizenship.
Absolutely.
If you weren't born here. Absolutely can. Get them out.
I did on my show a study of autistic. I want you to stay with me here a second, guys. 80,000 Somalis come in. They're in this country. Now, I don't know how many of them have children, okay? Let's assume that they have 5,000 kids, 8,000 kids, okay? Tops. You mean to tell me all those kids are autistic? No. Right. 1 out of every 15 people are autistic. So the question becomes, how did you spend all that money on autistic kids in Minnesota?
They weren't. It wasn't.
5,000 kids that are autistic.
There were no services provided. That's the whole thing. They were paid to lie, and then the providers received money, and no services were provided. So it wasn't just like a small group of people. It was the entire community that was committing a crime together.
All those checks. It's like a bank. It's like a bank. You have checks and balances. Who is checking to see?
So Minnesota, the state of Minnesota wrote the checks. And for the food scam, when there was a time when somebody in the state said, hey, this doesn't, something, I smell a rat. This doesn't look right. Do you know what the Somalis performing this, the food scam said to them, hey, listen, if you don't write these checks to us, we are going to sue you for racial discrimination. And we're going to make a fool out of the state. And the state bent over and said, oh no, we don't want to upset our voter base. And they kept writing the checks. They were literally threatened into continuing to write the checks. And you had Tim Walz at the helm looking at his budget and seeing billions disappear and no services being provided. And he just acted like nothing was happening. So that's who was writing the checks.
Tampon Timmy.
Is anybody ever held accountable, Seth?
No.
Anybody for anything?
No. Some low level, they'll give us some crumbs here and there. Some low level schmo will go to jail, but nobody of consequence ever.
That's why I love her.
Yep. Seth, you're right about that. You always say that all the time. No one's going to go to jail over it, I'm sure. But hey, guys, listen, sorry I got cut off. My laptop decided to go onto an automatic update and restart. So, I had to wait for all the.
It was China.
Yeah. So they didn't want to hear what I had to say, I guess. So they cut me off. If it was the Democrats and the Chinese.
Listen, I got to tell you something.
We got to wrap it up.
I think Trump is doing a wonderful job. I mean, honest to God, I really applaud him. He's all over the board. The guy, can I tell you something, is 24 hours a day. He's nonstop. He's got so many issues in this country to address. I think his administration is great, from Pam Bondi to Bongino to...
He's stepping down.
Yeah, I heard that. Resigning.
Huh?
Bongino's resigning.
Why is that?
He's saying because he's done what he wanted to do, and there's things he wants to go back to his show. A lot of people are saying because he's got all the conspiracy theories he threw out there coming back to say, hey, look, they're not true. You're the one that broke them. They're not true. So they think it's a lot of embarrassment. Some people think it's a show. We'll never know. But he's stepping down as the assistant director, I think, next month. Very soon. I can't remember the time frame, but it's very soon.
January. Yeah.
Well, I think you had that with Elon Musk, Damon, too. I think that
he's a quitter. I don't like quitters. I don't like quitters at all. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's resigning in January and leaving the seat open. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't know what the hell that's about. They're going to leave it there. Why? I mean, why not?
Bongino, there's somebody probably more qualified for that job. So they'll be okay. That deputy position will be okay. Yeah. Marjorie was elected. She's a fighter who's hanging up her gloves in the middle of a fight. I don't
sums up with that.
By the way, I turned down the position as the assistant director of the FBI. Just so you know, I will remain here
again for the second time.
I will not take that position. I will not leave the network. I will stay right here.
That's a shame. I would have loved for you to have been in that position.
It would have been interesting.
You let your feelings go, and your dialogue is very interesting.
It would have been very interesting. But I've turned it down because I want to stay here. I want to stay here with you.
That's right. This is the great America's Pulse Network.
Yeah.
So, and we're growing. So everybody out there, thank you for joining us tonight. Make sure you like and subscribe. And
awesome show.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I love the Pulse. I love having different personalities. Elana, you're awesome. Seth, I love you. You got the fire, and you came in hot and strong. A little late, but I know you had the other job to pay those medical bills of yours for your foot. And Barry, thank you for coming on. I know you were on at the election party. You were awesome. And Justin, as always, same deal. Thank you for coming on. Look forward to this campaign coming up. So,
but have a great holiday, guys.
Absolutely. Same to everyone. God bless.
So I don't think we'll be on next week on the Pulse. I don't think so. I think that everyone has some stuff to do. Might not be on.
It's Christmas Eve, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're not going to be on next Wednesday.
Yeah. So
and then the following Wednesday is New Year's Eve, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it's New Year's Eve. So
the next 2 Wednesdays, the Pulse will not be on.
Maybe we'll just pop on for like 5 minutes at midnight, and I'll take a shot.
Well, I will say this: if enough people on your show request it, I will come on New Year's Eve in my Daisy Dukes and a tube top, and I'll dance on the pole at 11:59. But it has to be at least 10,000 people that request that for me to do that.
I will. Now you just no. I'm going to get 10,000 people. I will. You know how hard I'll work to do that. I will get 10,000 people to request that you do it.
I will do. You get 10,000 people. I will Daisy Duke it.
Elena, I need help. With that. Barry, you got a lot of followers. Justin, you too. I need help. So,
yeah, we'll push it.
All right, y'all.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night, guys.
Always a great show. God bless.
Take care.
The APN's The Pulse podcast is hosted by Alexandra Levine, host of the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Damon Galdo, host of the Jersey Shore podcast. And Seth Eisenberg, host of the Conservative Corner podcast. Also, there will be 2 additional guests on every episode. So please like, subscribe, and then share this episode on your social media accounts that The Pulse is live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.